Major decisions and major changes in Maine after last night's vote.
Yeah, we have extensive Vote 2012 coverage and analysis tonight, including a live interview with Senator-elect Angus King. But before we get to any of that, we also have a potentially major storm on our doorstep.
A nor'easter is going to hit us tonight, and many of us could see our first snow of the season. For the latest on the storm's intensity and likely impact, let's go right to News 13 Chief Meteorologist Charlie Lipresti.
Well, thank you, Kim. That's right. Many towns will see the first flakes of the season tonight. But the good news, at least in our area, the worst of the storm system will remain to our south. So areas like southern New England heading down through New York and New Jersey, there will be spots that get upwards of a half a foot of snow. Here in northern New England, it's probably around an inch or two for many towns. And it will be breezy as well. The wind could occasionally gust 35 to as much as 45 miles per hour. Let's jump into the weather maps and I'll show you where the rain snow is right now. There's a band of rain offshore, and there are some snow showers to our west as well. Even a steady band of snow moving into southern New Hampshire. I expect that to overspread our skies around 8, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. In fact, I want to show you some of the watches and warnings right now. We're seeing southern New England getting hit the hardest as we speak. Winter weather advisories remain in effect. Areas shaded in the blue. These areas will get 1, 2, maybe as much as 3 inches of snow. A wind advisory remains in effect along the coastline. The wind could occasionally gust 35 to 45 miles per hour. There's a storm. It's a powerful storm, and it is a major storm, but we are on the edge of this one, so it will not have a huge impact around here. According to 2 inches for most towns, there'll be a little bullseye to our south and another bullseye over eastern parts of Maine. Now, Greg and Kim, coming up in a few minutes, I'll try to nail down the timing of the storm system. Many towns getting their first snow of the season, so some slippery travel will be expected for spots tonight. And it'll be nice to see some sunshine in the forecast. I have some of that as well.
Good.
It will be nice.
And
yes.
a warm-up as well.
And a warm-up. You got it.
Thanks, Charlie.
Well, as Charlie just mentioned, that storm and that snow continues to move north.
It could make for some messy driving conditions for some of us tonight. Now, this was the scene a couple of hours ago to our south in Springfield, Massachusetts. The snow is continuing to pile up there right now.
Yeah, our Catherine Underwood joins us live from Kennebunk right now. And Catherine, have you seen any flakes down there just yet?
Well, Kim and Greg, no, there's no snow yet, but I can tell you it is very windy and very cold out there. Now, even though we're not in for a lot of accumulation here, the Maine Turnpike Authority is taking this very seriously, and so too are some drivers.
It's my scrapers.
Judith Tremblay has lived in Maine for 30 years, so she knows exactly how to gear up for a storm. Check the tires, fill up on antifreeze and gas, and keep extra warm clothes in the trunk. But for some Mainers, if it's not a big storm, it's not worth the hassle. Lots of drivers we talked to haven't even put snow tires on yet.
No, because it's just for one day, so what's the point? I mean, we'll get them on when we really get a lot of snow.
You ready for it? Oh yeah, I've got gloves in the back, I've got my bog boots in the back seat, a shovel and a scraper in the back, so
You're all ready to go.
Yeah, why not?
Now, a spokesman for the Turnpike Authority tells us every storm is serious, so it was all hands on deck this morning as 80 trucks assaulted all of the 109 miles of highway. Now, employees there are just waiting on the storm, and so are we. We will have the very latest for you coming up at 11. For now, we're live in Kennebunk. Catherine Underwood. Kim, Greg, back to you.
All right, thanks. That woman was a lot more prepared than I am.
We were just joking. I'd have to find my scraper at this point.
That's right.
Good reminder.
Good point. Well, the voters have spoken, passing marriage equality here in Maine.
We have finally won the freedom to marry for all families in Maine.
This was the scene last night at the Yes on One rally. As the crowd found out they had in fact won. It was obviously an emotional scene there. Our Jana Barnella was there as well last night when the announcement was made. And Jana, from what you're seeing, is that emotion carrying over to today?
Absolutely, Kim and Greg. A lot of people are telling me they're still in disbelief and that they can't believe how different this is from the feeling in 2009 when same-sex marriage was defeated in Maine. And now today, there are some same-sex couples already planning their weddings.
This morning, my mom called me, and the first words that came out of her mouth was, "Honey, let's start planning your wedding."
A wedding that's now possible for Lizzie Snyder and her fiance, Janelle Martell. They got engaged this summer, even though they weren't sure if question 1 would pass.
Things that you can't explain happen a lot, and to put the power in the people and the voices and of all the Mainers, we believed in everybody.
So they watched and waited as the returns came in on Election Day.
Just as we're getting ready to shut off the TV, and just go to bed, we got a phone call from Liz's sister, and she told us that we had to turn the TV right back on. And so we turned it on, and it was just the most incredible moment of our lives we'll never forget.
Snyder and Martell weren't alone.
We have finally won the freedom to marry for all families in Maine.
It's a very emotional time, a very exciting time, and the people I've seen this morning, that emotion is carried right on into today.
A big part of the emotion is overcoming the defeat in 2009 when voters rejected same-sex marriage.
Both sides fought, and they fought really hard, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and that's what's so great about America.
We're someone's daughter. We're part of someone's family. And so, you know, we just want the same rights as everybody else.
But like Janelle and I say, we love those who love us. We teach those who don't quite understand, and we pray for those who seem lost.
Lizzie and Janelle haven't set a date for their wedding yet, but they tell me they are thinking about maybe November 6th of next year or the year after. November 6th now, of course, the anniversary of the day Maine voters legalized same-sex marriage. Live in Portland, I'm Jana Barnello, News 13. Kim, Greg, back to you.
All right, and Jana, before we let you go, when will couples begin receiving marriage licenses here in Maine?
A lot of people asking that question tonight, Kim. It's not going to be right away. Here's how it works. The Secretary of State has 20 days to certify the election results. Then it goes to Governor LePage, and he has 10 days to sign off on that. Then once the governor signs, it takes effect 30 days after that. So at most, we're looking at 60 days from now. At the earliest, we're looking at about 30 days from now. So we'll just have to wait and see once all the paperwork gets filed. Another thing to note about this law is that once it does go into effect, Maine will recognize same-sex marriages from other states. So couples who got married in New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, those states where it's legal, their marriages will also be recognized in Maine. Kim, Greg, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jana.
Well, major story out of Augusta as Maine voters give back control of the House and the Senate to the Democratic Party.
Today, our Brad Rogers is looking into this political power shift, and he joins us now live from Augusta with the story. Brad?
Well, guys, right behind me is the office of Governor Paul LePage. Now, even with a Republican-controlled House and Senate, the governor really didn't get all the legislation he wanted passed. Now, with the Democrats back in power, it's going to be even more difficult for him. It was a night almost too good to be true for Maine Democrats, with in many cases wins up and down the ticket. Democrats are still talking about it with posts like, "So happy, bloody brilliant. What a night, what a night." Here in Augusta, the Republican Party lost control of both the House and Senate. Democrats believe Governor Paul LePage is partly responsible.
I think what Mainers said very loudly is it's a rejection of his extreme ideas. And Democrats look forward to working with him, putting good ideas out there. But when he gets too extreme, Mainers have responded resoundingly saying, no, that's too far.
Republicans, though, say there are any number of reasons for the way the vote turned out, from the economy to the re-election of President Barack Obama.
I think a lot of it has to do with the strength of the top of the ticket. You know, people get in the voting booth and, you know, obviously Maine went the Obama way. Shelley Pingree had a big win. Angus King had a big win. And people just get in there and keep voting down the line.
But Democrat Ann Graham, who won a second term in the State House, says the message is clear. She says Mainers are fed up with extreme ideas, like when the governor proposed cutting thousands of people off MaineCare.
Our constituents are tired of partisanship, and they really want people to be up there working hard. At every door I had, people said, we've had it with far right-leaning and far left-leaning politicians.
She and others say it's high time to put political differences aside.
The problems in Maine haven't gone away. I think most people are ready to forget about the labels of the R's and the D's and have us get down to work to solve those problems.
Well, Governor LePage released a statement today. He urged the newly elected legislators to come together and find solutions to Maine's fiscal challenges to make really the prosperity better for Maine's hardworking families and businesses. Maine Democrats tonight say that's what the governor should have been doing all along. Live in Augusta, Brad Rogers, News 13. Kim, Greg, back to you.
All right, thank you, Brad.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Charlie DePresti.
Welcome back, everyone. We have a little light snow in the forecast tonight, just a taste of winter. We're going to ease into winter. How does that sound? It's not going to be a big storm, but many towns will get an inch, maybe 2 inches of snow out of this, and the wind will pick up as well. There's some rain offshore. There's some snow developing down in southern New Hampshire. This will overspread our skies over the next several hours, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. That's when we see the snow really start to fly. Heading back down to southern New England, it's been snowing there for a good chunk of the day. In fact, heading back to the Berkshires, even Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey getting in on this. They just can't seem to catch a break down there. We have a winter weather advisory in effect, and we have a wind advisory in effect and a winter weather advisory in effect for tonight. Let's take a look at some of the time lapses from today. This one coming in from our Portland Skycam. Hey, the clouds came in pretty early. That solidified the cool temps staying in place. Temps struggled to get out of the 30s today, mid-30s. Heading down into Connecticut, it's been snowing there for a good chunk of the day. So yes, snow was flying there as soon as early afternoon. And again, this is slowly lifting to the north, but I'll tell you, we are going to be on the edge of this storm system. As I widen things out even a little bit more, we're seeing a storm really cranking up off the New Jersey coast tonight. Snow tracker tonight, well, we're not going to see a lot of snow here at the coastline. There'll be a few spots that get an inch or two of snow. You head inland just a little bit, then maybe a few spots, 2 or 3 inches there. The jackpot out of this one is going to be down into New Jersey. The areas that were hit hardest with Sandy last week, they are getting a full-fledged snowstorm out of this one. Now to the wider view. Where's the storm right now? Well, the center of low pressure is situated off the New Jersey coastline. You get counterclockwise low pressure rotation around low pressure. That brings in a northeasterly wind. That's why we call it a nor'easter, and that's exactly what we're going to have tonight. So the wind will pick up. We'll have gusts 35 to 45 miles per hour. I don't expect the extreme wind that we had last week. Instead, just a plain old storm for us with some light accumulations. Here we are, 8 o'clock tonight. The snow overspreads our skies. Notice the temperatures are still above the freezing mark, so we may start as a little bit of rain. That should transition over to some snow as temps fall into the lower 30s. This is about 1 o'clock in the morning. We're seeing snow for a good chunk of the area. Heading across the mid-coast, we're seeing a little bit of a changeover to some rainfall or maybe even a little sleet or freezing rain. This will take place during the overnight hours, so we will see a change over to some rain by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Let's start out around 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now temps mostly in the upper 30s, mid to upper 30s. So plain old rainfall for the coastal plain. As you head inland, we're still seeing a little bit of light snow, particularly in the hills and mountains. I expect periods of rain throughout the day tomorrow. The wind will stay up as well. We'll have gusts at times around 30 miles per hour. Some lingering snow showers will hang on in the mountains. Friday's the payoff day. This 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday, sunny skies with highs around 50 degrees. Okay, so how much snow? According to 2 from many towns, a few spots in this little sliver here may see upwards of 2, maybe 3 inches of snow, but I think there'll be a lot of areas coming in with around an inch. These snowfall totals will taper off as you head back into the mountains. If anything, our forecast models have been shifting this just a little bit further east. The storm is encountering some drier air, and temps certainly look cold enough to support a little bit of snow. By tomorrow, we're talking mainly rain. Some snow hangs on in the mountains, though. Friday looks nice. Saturday looks nice as well. A warm front gets through here Saturday night and early Sunday. That should bring a round of clouds, and temps will respond. Temps in the lower 60s next week. So a little bit of snow tonight. We'll be raking leaves by the end of the week. How does that sound?
It's more like it. Thanks, Charlie.